coming to you live from Tennessee, from the east to the west. We are talking Cowboys everything. And you just entered
the Cowboy Zone.
Welcome back to a Victory Wednesday at the Cowboy Zone. I'm your host, Marcus Jones for Bluff City Cowboys, coming to you live from Memphis, Tennessee.
And this is Lambo from Cowboys Yard out of Johnson City, Tennessee.
Well, Lambo, I don't know how we pulled it off, but we did it. So welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Cowboy Zone. I hated to sound optimistic last week, but I was fully expecting to come in here and try to give some type of rah-rah speech to keep everybody motivated. But the team shocked me and pulled it off. Great game versus the Cincinnati Bengals. They came out hot, got kind of stagnant, but at the end of the day, Money Maher came through when it counted.
I still can't believe he made the game-winning kick.
I know. So before we get into it, let me say thank you for joining us, Keith M. Definitely appreciate you tuning in. And then we got Jack Meeker. Thank you for joining, and congratulations on the new addition to the family. I saw your post on Twitter about an hour or so ago, so congratulations and thank you for finding a few minutes to tune in with us, because I know for the next couple of months you'll be pretty busy on grandpa duty.
Congrats.
Got my guy Mendoza in the house. Thank you for joining. As always, appreciate it. James Crittenden, thank you for tuning in. Definitely appreciate that. And William Coulter, as always, definitely appreciate all your support. So we got the Victory Wednesday today. Lambo, what was the one thing in that game that surprised you the most? It was so many things that went into us winning that game, but what shocked you the most about this team and how they pulled it off? And guys, let me know what you think in the comments.
I really didn't think we was going to be able to keep Jamar Chase in check.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that comes to mind. LVE playing above the level I expected him to play at.
Uh-huh.
That was another one.
Yeah.
Noah Brown didn't surprise me. I'm kind of been starting to expect that from him.
Mm-hmm. You know, I wasn't shocked by Noah Brown's performance. I was shocked about how well his performance was, because he was making some very clutch plays.
Yeah.
If you guys remember week 1, I said he'd be more of a 3rd and 4, get you 5 yards, move the chains type guy. But it was 4th and 2, beginning of the game, pretty much the tone setter. He comes through with a 17-yard catch. Then you have another, I think it was 3rd and 14. He gets a 25-yard catch, and then he had the big touchdown catch in the back of the end zone. So he was not only making clutch plays, he was making star-level plays. So that was definitely a shock to see him do that. I'm glad to see my guy Dorrance Armstrong finally getting his respect. Came through with 2 big sacks. I was going to say that, everybody thought that except Mendoza, Lambo, if you remember. His bold prediction was pretty much Golden Chase. Yeah, I believe under 100 yards and no touchdowns and 5 catches or something like that.
Yep. And one of the catches he had was a push-off on Diggs that he got away with.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
It was a short pass, but still.
And, yeah, that was definitely something great to see, talking about Collins being a turnstile. I know a lot of our fan base was kind of upset because we lost Collins in the offseason, but
I feel better about it now.
Exactly. We could have been on the receiving end of that, and he's got it for 2 weeks in a row. William Coulter definitely seeing Kellen run it in the first half, and the team ran it effectively. Both running backs, I believe, were close to 5 yards a carry. I wish they could have stuck with it a little bit more, but
yeah, I got a little frustrated in the second half because we shouldn't have let them back in the game like we did.
Yeah.
We could have sealed it. We had the chance to seal it
several times.
Yep. That kind of frustrated me. I thought we was going to let them come right back in it, man, and that would have been a heartbreaker. But
Yeah, if it would have gone to overtime, we probably would have lost, honestly. But luckily, team pulled through.
Sorry, it sounded read that wrong.
I can only imagine where you went. But yeah, the D line as a whole was really playing well. I really enjoyed rewatching the game and seeing how much better Armstrong looks when he's standing up in a 2-point stance. Like if you guys get a chance to go back and look, his best pass rushing was in the 2-point stance. And I hate
Yeah.
to make these type of comparisons, but I promise you, when I was watching the game, I was like, that looked like Alden Smith. When
Okay.
he was standing up, I saw a lot of Alden Smith in how he played. Wasn't pretty, just long arm strength, understanding leverage, getting that push off, knowing how to pursue downfield, and then spin back to make those tackles. It was very impressive to see him do that and to come through with 2 sacks on the game with it. And William Coulter saying those rings they scored because of penalties. Also, our team was gassed at that point when they got that touchdown. I think that was like an 8-minute drive. So those guys started to kind of give up once we got it. Well, not give up, but tire out once we got them inside the 30. And it was pretty much inevitable they were going to score a touchdown. And Jack Meeker saying, yeah, they triple team Micah and he could still reach out and touch Burrow.
There were so many plays where his pressure may not have been noticed by the average eye, but he created so much.
Much.
There was other guys. If you look at almost every other play that was made that wasn't him, if you go back and watch that play, you will see that it was still caused by him.
Right, he was a contributor to it.
Yeah.
Definitely. But yeah, I mean, we all kind of talked about this, and Jeff, thank you for tuning in. Definitely appreciate you joining us. And Jack Meeker talking about Big Bo. Yeah, Bo actually had an even better game last week than the week before. He was doing a great job of holding double teams, and he was actually getting a lot of penetration that prevented them from running the ball in running lanes a couple times. So all around, just great job by the defense. And you talked about LVE earlier in the show. When you got good defensive tackles, your middle linebacker looks better. I think what we're seeing right now is kind of proving that you give a guy a chance not to get touched, and he'll give you some great statistics. And then one more guy we got to talk about, Anthony Brown. Didn't hear a peep out of whoever he was guarding. Just all around great coverage. He's one of those guys. He only gets mentioned when it's something bad. But when it's nothing at all, we need to bring his name up too. He's very a very underrated cornerback. Yuck, William, he does lead in every category. We can't pay him right now because of NFL rules. He has to be in his 3rd offseason. So we've got at least another year before we can even consider paying Micah Parsons just based off the NFL rules. I see I got my guy Jay in the Bay joining us. What's up, man? Diehard 49ers fan. I see you guys had a little bit of good news, bad news. Lost your starting quarterback, but got back your starting quarterback in Jimmy Garoppolo, and the team looked a lot better. So I'm looking forward to seeing what the Niners do moving forward, going back to more of how they played last year in a traditional scheme. So, yeah, Jeff, you talked about Brown held his own versus Chase. Yeah, they all held their own. And I was seeing a lot of tweets, Lambo, about people saying Diggs got burnt and Brown is trash. I'm like, Joe Burrow had 199 total yards. I don't think any receiver on the team had more than 60, if I'm not mistaken.
Nobody got burnt.
It's crazy how players are they just latch onto a narrative and don't want to let it go. Yeah. All right, so we already just jumped right into the defensive side. I got to bring up one more player, and then we'll get back on the offense real quick. We got to talk about the job Donovan Wilson did stepping in for J-Ron Curse. Like, he didn't miss a beat. He was reading. He was reacting quick. I don't think he had a missed tackle the entire game.
And that penalty on him was bullshit.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
not only did he not have a missed tackle, I don't think a guy got another yard off of his tackles. Like when he hit a guy, that was it. That's all you're getting.
Yeah.
So very impressive by him. And watching the game, as much as I love Curse, and there's not a bigger fan than me. Looking at how Wilson looked in their role, I'm wondering now, is it the play or is it the scheme?
That's interesting topic right there.
Yeah. That's probably something we have to get into another day.
Yeah.
We can talk all day about that, but I think this next game will kind of let us know a little bit more about that. But Donovan Wilson probably, I know Micah had a great game, but I could make an argument that Wilson was our best defensive player on Sunday. Yeah, and Donovan hit so hard, it's a thing of beauty. I can't wait to see him this week against that Giants offense.
Sam Williams, yeah, he got back there in a good play.
That tackle for loss.
Yep. I remember going, yeah, Sam.
Yeah. Go back and watch that play and watch how Bohanna just blew up the A and B gap.
I was mad because I was at my brother's house and he can't grill good. So he had me handling the grill. I must have missed at least 15, 20 snaps. I was so mad. I still haven't got a chance to go back and watch them either.
All right, let's talk about the offensive side of the ball real quick. Cooper Rush, second start. He looked composed. He had a couple overthrows here and there, but overall had a very good game. Very solid game plan by the offensive coordinator, at least for half the game. What impressed you most about Rush's performance, Lambo?
Just poise.
Yeah.
he don't, for a guy that's had extremely limited starts in his career, he don't really look like it. As far as it don't seem too big for him. He seems comfortable, relaxed. He don't seem too overwhelmed. Even when he had a couple throws he knew could have been picks, he turned. He didn't let it affect him, and that's basically it. Didn't make the big mistake. Almost did a couple times, but he did what he had to do. He's game manager.
Yep.
So all this team really needs, honestly. I mean, with the running backs we have and the defense we have, we just need a guy that can manage the game, don't turn the ball over. And he did just that. And I think, like you were mentioning earlier, I think we may be onto a streak coming up.
Yeah, I think so. It lines up for it perfectly.
Dak will come back in a great situation.
Yep. I mean, it could be similar to that 2020 New Orleans Saints situation where Drew Brees actually broke his thumb, same injury. And it's really a 2-week injury, guys. It's not a 6 to 8 week injury. After a guy has his surgery, he can really start throwing 7 days later if he wants to. But we could be in one of those situations like the Saints were, where you let the backup come in, Teddy Bridgewater, game manager type guy, just knows how to make the throws he needs to make. And you let Dak take a couple extra weeks or two to get that healing process in, and then he comes back and we've ran off 3 or 4 in a row. So that will put us in a great situation. And then we're going to get a couple more players back. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Talking about that poise, and Mendoza said, I was thinking he'll be back for the Bears after the bye week against the Vikings. Yeah, it definitely depends on how well Cooper Rush keeps playing. And Jack Meeker, that's a great point. We'll talk about that in a minute, but let me say this. We talk about Cooper Rush's poise. We got to talk about that offensive line because they kept them pretty clean for the most part. And there was nobody better than Tyler Smith yesterday. Another great game by him going against Hendrickson, double-digit sack guy. He got off one time. Other than that, Smith was just on it.
I really hate the thought of moving him away from left tackle.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to happen.
I'm at that point where, you just drafted him. He's young. Tyron can't stay healthy. Just let him continue to flourish and learn. But then there's, what's that do for Peters? What's going to happen there?
Honestly, I think Peters just eventually gets on the roster and becomes a swing tackle.
Yeah.
I just cannot. I keep seeing people post this best five scenario. There's no such thing as a best five when it comes to offensive line. It's all about how good you're playing in that moment and who you're playing with. Because we've tried the best five a couple times in the past where you move a guy from one spot to another to put another guy in, and then all the guys end up looking terrible.
An example is we've seen where Conor McGovern had looked so good at right guard that
they tried that best five and put Connor Williams on the bench.
Yeah, and then when they put him back at left guard, he was doing terrible. He was doing good at right guard, but although he's looked better at left guard to start this season.
Well, this is the first time he's consistently got a chance to like play in the offseason in left guard too, because he's been historically our swing right guard center.
Yeah,
he's never really just been the backup left guard. There's always been Connor Williams with no type of pressure on him to lose that spot.
And I noticed PFF's post that earlier today as well. What you put up that William had about Tyler Smith being a high rate as rookie tackle.
Yeah, you gotta let him stand. You gotta let him grow. Another thing I'll talk about. Farniok has some issues in pass coverage, but when it comes to run blocking, him and Smith are road graders over there. Like they make it a point of finding the guy and driving him 5 yards, and that's been a major contributor in how well our offenses look. And then Brian Baldinger brought up a video about them bringing back the play where they pull the guard and the tackle. Every time they do it, it looks like it can go for a touchdown. Tyler Smith and Farniok are great at pulling to get those blocks. Yep, and Coach William, you're right. The same thing. They tried to move Steele to left tackle from right to get the best five on the field, and Steele was just a complete train wreck when he made that move. So we talk about the offensive line. We'll talk about tight end once we get past storylines. But other thing, we got to talk about the receivers and CeeDee Lamb in particular. When I watch the game, sometimes it's like I forget who is who when I see Noah Brown and CeeDee Lamb, because they have quite a few times where they'll put Noah Brown in the slot and CeeDee Lamb would be at the Z position side by side, and you're like, who's the slot guy? I really didn't think Noah Brown had the ability to play inside, but so I've been pleasantly surprised with seeing his ability to transition, not only at all three positions really, because he's played X, Z, and slot.
Which brings a lot of an excitement when you imagine him, CD, and Gallup all on the field together.
That is something I'm definitely looking forward to. So, since we're talking about that, Lambo, I mean, we could probably talk the whole show about the Bengals game, but we're at 19 minutes. We're going to try to stick with an hour. Is there anything else you want to hit on about that Bengals game, or do you want to look ahead to week 3?
Not really.
Anything? Turpin finally got a punt return.
He was about a block away.
He was a block away, yeah.
From getting it. Brown making us not miss Cedric Wilson. I agree. Yep.
Gabriel Garcia, thank you for joining us. Jeff brought it up again. Money Maher coming through in the clutch.
Look better than Greg Zorline.
Yep.
I would have never thought it, but
it was funny. I was talking to my friend at the end of the game. He hates the Cowboys. He bet against them. And I was explaining to him, I was saying the worst thing we could do is get inside the 50. Because Maher seems to be almost automatic at like 55 and up.
Right.
But you get inside the 50 and he starts to shank them. And they ran that last play and the ball was for a 50-yard kick. I was like, oh my God. What's gonna happen?
That's
now,
funny.
Looking at it from the live tape, it looked like he missed it, but thank God the refs had a better view than I did. All right, so Lambo, before we get too far in the show, let's go ahead and hit up these storylines so we can hit on some of the major key points to look at as we go into week 3.
Storylines.
All right, we got a couple things that'll come up over the past couple of days. And once again, guys, thank you for joining us. O.M. Garcia, thank you for joining, as well as Gabriel Garcia. For everybody who's watching, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit that like button. I see we got quite a few likes up there, so thank you guys for that. Also, make sure if you're watching from YouTube that you hit that subscribe button. I am Bluff City Cowboys on YouTube, and Lambo is Cowboys, y'all. So make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you share. Share it to your personal page. Share it to your favorite Facebook group. And also join into the conversation. We like to make this an interactive show, and we can't do that without you guys and your great questions and comments. And William Coulter saying he doesn't think CD is the number 1 wide receiver. There's a one game where we're like, yes, CD is going to eat this week. You know what, William? The more we go into the season, I'm starting to lean that way also.
I am too, and it makes me kind of sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
I didn't think I was going to be at this point in the season starting to feel that way.
Yeah, but silver lining to that, and a lot of people talk about this, this team isn't necessarily schemed to just have an alpha number 1 receiver to be successful. Noah Brown's finally shown what I've seen since college. He has great hands. He's super athletic, height, weight, speed guy. He has the ability to get you 50 or 60 yards a game. Michael Gallup has the ability to get you 50 or 60 yards a game. Same thing for CD Lamb. You put that together, and you've got a pretty good receiving core. I don't think we'll ever have a guy. I don't think CD will ever be a guy where he may go off for 140 and 3 touchdowns like a Stephon Diggs or AJ Jefferson. But I think all of these guys are capable of being chain movers and splash plays here or there. And honestly, in the NFL, that's all you need to be successful.
It makes me mad too because I argued like for the longest time with Justin Jefferson fans that I think CD is going to be better.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't argue that anymore.
No, he can't argue that anymore. Unless he's going against Darius Slay. You can't make that argument.
Yeah.
Or unless Kirk Cousins is playing on Monday Night Football, because that's probably
that too
a bigger contributor of why they look so bad. And Jack Meeker saying he wants to see our rookie out there. Think he finally will get to. And Jeff says he still thinks we need a deep speed threat. Good luck with that, Jeff. We talk about this all the time. Every receiver we got, 6'3", 200 pounds, 4.5 speed. Unless we get rid of our entire offensive philosophy, I don't think that'll ever change.
Man, I wish we had a Tyreek Hill.
Well, we got a guy with that type of speed, but they won't use him for that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, let's hop into these storylines real quick, Lambo. We're at 25 minutes. First storyline got to talk about. I probably should have flipped these first two, but Dennis Houston got cut today. It was a shock to a lot of Cowboys fans. Or yesterday, I'm sorry. Luckily, he cleared waivers, and I believe he is now officially on our practice squad. So there were a lot of speculation about what that cut meant. That spot is still open right now, Lambo. What do you think that that cut of Dennis Houston meant for this team? Is it directly related to wide receiver, or is that spot going to be used somewhere else?
It could probably mean I got two things kind of in mind that Gallup's time might be coming, or we could see another safety brought on the roster.
Okay. You know, I can go so many ways with that. Because you didn't have to cut Houston to bring Gallup back, because Gallup's been on the active roster. He's just been inactive every week. And
oh yeah, that's right.
I'm thinking maybe they're gonna bring Peters up, just like Jack Meeker just posted. Beat me
Yeah.
to it. They could be trying to make a spot to bring Peters up to the active roster, because normally when you have a veteran guy like a Peters, with the way the rules have been changed, you put him on the practice squad to give him a chance to get in shape, so the team doesn't have to spend a ton of money while he gets in game shape.
Yeah.
And then when they feel he's ready, then you can put him on the roster and start to pay him that big veteran minimum salary. So they could be gearing up to bring him to the 53-man roster. Another thing I was thinking about, they could be thinking about bringing in another veteran wide receiver. Safety was also an option to me. And I was also thinking about, I was thinking maybe a tight end, but I didn't see any tight ends that were free agents right now that would warrant trying to sign them immediately to the 53-man roster. So
Yeah.
right now I'm leaning kind of like you, safety or Peters. Now they could surprise us, and it could be a Will Fuller situation. That's the name I was kind of thinking about.
That would give us our deep speed.
Exactly. And when Jeff said that, I was immediately thinking about that, and I wanted to make a point of it. But I think we all kind of agree, the fact that Houston is cut, that kind of opens up the door that Gallup's going to be back, because Houston played extensively as the X receiver for the last 2 games. So now you can probably slide Gallup into that spot, which Houston doesn't play special teams, so that kind of makes his role on the team obsolete. Because unfortunately, guys, Tober's probably going to still be inactive. So you can't have 2 wide receivers inactive on your team when you only got 5 receivers. And Jack Meeker, me and Jeff talked about this the other day. Andy Isabella did get cut. I don't know if he cleared waivers or not. I didn't keep up with it, but that's definitely a name that was at the top of my list of a guy we might want to bring in. And I got my guy Lee Williams, another diehard Niners fan here. Thank you for joining. Yeah, it was a bad break for Trey Lance, but I think Jimmy G's the better quarterback for your team right now. So, Lambo, Gallup coming back. Jeff asked a question. Let me see if I can find it. He says he hopes we're not rushing Gallup back. You think the team might be rushing him back? Or, I mean, this is right around the 9-month mark for his surgery, 8-month mark for his surgery.
Honestly, I don't feel like they'd be rushing him back with the performance they was able to put together without him against a team that was just in the Super Bowl. I don't think they'd rush him back. I think if he comes back, I think they feel extremely comfortable where he's at.
Yeah. Yeah, and we sometimes as fans have the problem where we still think of things from 5-10 years ago when we think of certain NFL attributes. 10 years ago, an ACL injury was a 1-year injury. And then sometime over the past 5 years, it cut down to about 9 months with the Adrian Petersons and guys like that. Now we're at a point where modern medicine, past 5 years, it could be a 7-month injury now. We just don't know. So it could be one of those things where we're still thinking it's a 9-month injury, and just technology is cutting down their recovery time.
Yeah.
And no doctor would clear him unless he was able to play. So it's not like Jerry can just have a wink and a nudge and bribe somebody to get him back on the field. He has to clear independent doctors say so before he can get back on that field and play.
Yeah. It's came a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, you got Akers coming back from an Achilles, and that literally never happens.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see how that lasts, but
yeah. William Cozer asking the question, talking about Turpin. Why aren't we using Turpin as our deep threat? I mean, honestly, William, this team just doesn't. The scheme of our offense doesn't have a deep threat option. Just plain and simple. It's not a part of our system. Turpin, I believe, ran a high 4.2, low 4.3 at his combine, so he does have the speed to stretch the field. You also asked about Semi Fehoko a while ago. It was Jack Meeker. Semi Fehoko is a high 4.3 guy also. Speed just isn't part of our scheme right now, unfortunately. So as much as we like to see it, I think it's just wishful thinking. Yeah, I agree. The Bengals are who we thought they were. A team with a below-average offensive line and a quarterback who lives and dies off of big plays.
What's the coach that they are who we thought they were?
That was Minnesota Vikings. It was the Vikings versus the Ravens. Dennis.
Oh yeah.
Denny Green.
Dennis Green.
Dennis Green for the Vikings. Yeah.
Yep. That's right.
Yep. We are who they thought they are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook. All right. So next thing, Dalton Schultz injury. So Dalton Schultz hurt himself late in the game. Thank you guys. Appreciate you confirming what we thought. Jeff and Jack. So Dalton Schultz hurt himself. Good chance he's probably going to miss this game.
Got some real good looking young tight ends.
I was way off, Jeff. Thank you for that. You're right. You're 100% right. It was Cardinals and Bears. I don't know why I'm thinking Vikings and Ravens.
I'm saying those young tight ends, man, they look like they might be really good.
Well, we finally get to see them in action. Because I agree.
Schultz gonna regret missing his game if they look really good.
You know the worst part about this? Think about our tight ends in the last 4 times we played the Giants. Monster games.
Yeah.
I mean, Blake Jarwin pretty much made his whole career off of Giants games.
These guys come out here balling like crazy. They're gonna think twice about a big long-term contract when they got 2 good-looking tight ends.
Yep. I don't think we'll see as much 12 personnel as we've been seeing in the past if Michael Gallup plays. So one of these guys is gonna get a chance to showcase what he can do in a very easy matchup. Also considering the fact they just signed Jalen Smith back, which pretty much is like icing on the cake for a tight end. Because there's no shot of Jalen Smith covering either one of these tight ends in open space. Way too good, even at a young age.
Yeah.
So guys, I hate to go to the Sunday pregame show, but if you need a tight end this week, pay attention to who Dallas is giving more playing time to, and you might want to go pick them up for a week and stream them. And Lee saying he can't wait to see Zeke versus Barkley. That's going to be an interesting one.
I can't wait to see Parsons versus Barkley, Penn State versus Penn State.
Yeah, I forgot about that connection. Yeah, William Coulter, they did sign Jalen Smith last year also when they played against us. I don't know why they keep bringing them back. I guess they didn't see enough last year. Last storyline, talking about Dak's progress. I mentioned this before. This is really a 2-week injury if we want it to be. So Dak is kind of in the tail end of that. They're saying he could get out there and throw now if he wants to, but they're going to try to slow play it. So Lambo, realistically, how long do you think he sits out from this?
Just knowing the competitor that Dak is, he's going to come back as soon as possible. I'm going to say, let me look at the schedule. The schedule.
Let's assume they play the next 3 games after the Giants game. They play Washington, they play the Rams, and then they play the Eagles. There's no chance he doesn't play the Eagles game. No chance he misses that game.
Yeah, that might be the game he comes back.
Because the bye week is the week after the Eagles game.
No.
He's not going to sit out the Eagles game and the bye week and then play the Lions, which is what a lot of people are trying to project.
I'm showing the bye is week 9. after Chicago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at the wrong thing. You're right.
But yeah, I think. I mean, a division game, tough game. Philly's rolling. I think he's gonna be back Philly week.
Okay, let me ask you this question.
That'll be the 5th week.
Let's say we lose against the Giants this week. Does that change your mind?
No.
Okay. So win or lose, you still think it's the Eagles game?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. Now you got me thinking, because the Rams game that'll be a tough game to win.
Yeah. But in the grand scheme of things, that was not as important as that Eagles game.
No, the division. I'm feeling the Eagles game. It's Philly week.
Yeah, I was wondering if you would say they might try to rush him back against the Commanders next week if we lose to the Giants.
Oh, nah.
Gabriel saying, yeah, because we can't lose another division game against Washington. And William says if we're winning, he'll sit extra week and be fully healed. He said we're beating the midgets and the commodes. My guy Jeff says the Rams. That's an option. I don't know. I'm leaning Eagles though. I think win or lose. Let me ask you this then. Let's say we lost the next two.
Yeah, he's coming back for Rams.
Okay. James says the Eagles also.
We lose the next two, I'm gonna be one pissed off person.
Right. Oh, I'm with you.
It ain't happening.
I mean,
the Giants are gonna fucking catch a big L.
The Giants are undefeated.
They should not be 2-0. It is ridiculous. It's stupid.
Yep. I mean, they got all kind of turmoil going on. Their best receiver is David Seal or Steele?
Yeah, exactly.
Some guy I've never heard of. Offensive line is in disarray.
It's a fluke, bro. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
They'll finish the season with like 5-6 wins max.
Who, the Giants?
Yep.
I can see that. You know, that happens every year where one team will get 1 or 2 games in the beginning of the season, and then everybody will swear they're back. And then before you know it, it's right back to the team we always know and hate. All right, guys, we're at 39 minutes. But yeah, William, we're definitely excited. Expected to be 0-2. So being 1-1 is definitely a pleasant surprise this week. All right, guys. So before we go into the rest of the show, let's go ahead and get our question of the week up. And we get you guys to give us what you think about the question we got up today. As part of our storylines, we talked about the Dalton Schultz injury, and we talk about the success that our team has had against the New York Giants, particularly at the tight end position. So this week's question of the week directly lines up with that. So let's go ahead and get into it and get you guys' thoughts.
Question of the week.
All right, so this week's question of the week is, which tight end will have the best game against the Giants? We know Dalton Schultz is going to probably sit out. Jake Ferguson is probably going to be in the starter, but you also got Peyton Hendershot, and you'll probably have Sean McEwen called up from the practice squad. So one of these guys is going to definitely have an opportunity to step up. So let us know in the comments. Or, you can either let us know in the comments who you think will have the best game this week, or you can go to your phones, go to menti.com, and type in this code, and then we can display your response on the show. So, guys, if you get a chance, we'll bring this back a couple times throughout the show. Minty.com, use the code, and cast your vote. And we'll come back to it. So I'm assuming, Lambo, that's yours. So
What?
I saw you looking at your phone quite a bit, so I'm assuming that was you.
It was. I like Hendershot a lot. I do.
Uh-huh.
But I just think Ferguson's going to have more opportunities. So that's why I say him.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning
I
towards
like both of them a lot.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning towards what William Coulter says, whoever's the starter. But again, that could change in this game because all right, that one's not me. So somebody put a vote for Hendershot. I'm probably assuming that's Mendoza. I don't think I can go and check. But we got one vote for Jake Ferguson, one vote for Hendershot. Okay, we got a couple people clicking in.
Is that
Got
Sean
one.
McKeon?
Got one for each tight end. So this one is going to be a little bit more involved than I thought it would be. So, guys, if you get a chance, go ahead and cast your vote. Let us know who you think, and we'll come back to it again later in the show. So Lambo, let's go ahead and go to our next topic, and that is talking about some of the key matchups in this week's game.
Key matchups.
All right, guys. Once again, thank you for joining us. I see a lot of people are hitting us in the comments. We definitely appreciate that. And we'll go through those also. But you can also go to minty.com, use that code, and put your vote on the chart. So the comments are pretty much overwhelming for Hendershot, the more athletic of the three tight ends.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Jack Mixon is going to be explosive. James Crittenden, Hendershot. Jeff has Hendershot. Mendoza saying you can't go wrong with either.
I think he's more explosive for sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think Ferguson will end up starting, however, and that's my main thing for choosing him.
Yeah, and I think
he'll have more snaps.
Yeah, I think Jeff kind of sums it up the best. You look at all the great games Blake Jarwin had, and Hendershot kind of more fits that role of what Blake Jarwin was in those games.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes you lean towards that point.
Yeah.
Jack Mika said he did both. All right, so Lambo, key matchups. We'll go back and forth. What do you think are the three key matchups in this week's game? So you give me one, then I'll give one. We'll rotate it.
Kind of. Well, one of them I mentioned earlier, Parsons and Barkley. I feel like he's really the explosive guy on offense you got to worry about, and I think Parsons helps us keep him in check.
Mm-hmm.
Taking away Barkley, I feel like gives us a great chance to just take off early in this game.
Yep.
I just really don't feel like they're going to be able to throw the ball well on us.
Mm-hmm.
And
you know, and Mendoza took my first one. I think D-Law has a good game this week. We talk about the good games Blake Jarwin puts together against the Giants. D-Law normally puts a very good game together against the Giants. He normally causes a fumble in every game, I think. So I'm looking for D-Law versus the rookie right tackle Evan Neal to be a spot where we take some chances at, and D-Law gets some opportunities. So that's probably my first one that I'm looking at. And Bob Heck, thank you for joining. He says look for Kayvon Thibodeau to come back against our tackles this week. We'll have to watch the injury report to see how that's looking. And Mendoza, Lambo actually said the exact same thing earlier in the show, Penn State versus Penn State. All right, Lambo, you got another matchup for us?
Not at the moment.
All right, well, you know I got to talk about this one because I brought it up already. Jalen Smith versus our tight ends. I feel like we've been looking for the tight ends to have a big game because our team is so dependent on them. I think this is the week that one of our guys steps up, and we'll go back to the question of the week to see which tight end the fan base thinks would be the best performer. But one of these guys is going to make a couple of splash plays against Jalen, and I think that's going to be the difference in the game. On top of our receivers doing what they do, I think the tight end opens the floodgates up for the rest of the team. And let's see, got anybody else in the comments? Mendoza says Noah Brown versus their rookie corner Cordell Flott. I have no clue who Cordell Flott is, so that one would definitely be interesting. Jeff says, "Do I think Jalen even plays?" I would say yes, Jeff, because their linebacker core is a mess. And I really feel like they brought in Jalen because they need every edge they can get at that position. And I also believe Leonard Williams might be out this week also. So they must like Jalen as an inside body for their defensive scheme. So Mendoza, I got to check that out. Let me know why Cordell Flott is starting. Did he beat out Aaron Robinson, or is one of their starting corners hurt? Because I thought it was Robinson and Adoree Jackson who were the starters. So let me know in the comments. Yeah, Jeff, when you need a name you haven't heard of, you can always go to the well of Mendoza. He's got one for you. So we talked about Jalen, we talked about the ends. If I had to throw one more key matchup to look at, I would probably go with Barkley versus Donovan Wilson. I feel like Parsons is a good one also, but I think just the way they run their scheme,
Yeah.
if they're smart, they'll try to run away from whatever side Parsons is on. So you got to hope your Van Der Esch, Donovan Wilson type guys can make the tackles.
Mm-hmm.
Because people are crowning Barkley because of his performances the past 2 weeks. If you go back and watch the game, 90% of his production came from 2 runs. So I think he's got like 200 and some yards total in 2 weeks. I believe like 80 or 90 of that came from some 2 big runs.
It seems like that's been him his whole career in the NFL.
Exactly. You keep him bottled up.
Yeah, average 3 yards a carry an entire game, and then he'll break one off at one point in the game, and that's it.
Mm-hmm. Bob Heck saying we must set the edge out. D-tackle LV is going to be big in this game. Definitely, just like I said, your Saquon's going to try to get to the edge. He's a big scat back. He's a scat back in a power back's body. He's not going to try to do anything inside. So you got to try to make sure you get him down and don't let him hit that corner, which I think our defense is really good at right now. And Jeff saying he always likes Parsons and D-Law on separate sides. You know what, Jeff? Going back and watching last week's game, D-Law looked much better inside than outside in the run game and the pass rush game. So just pay attention to that D-Law inside at tackle. Also, Fowler looked really good inside on 3rd down. I don't think he could do it on 1st or 2nd down, but 3rd down, he definitely looked good as an inside rusher. But I just hope that they D-Law taps into whatever he taps into when he plays the Giants and gives us a good game.
We need Trayvon Diggs to tackle every time like he did at the end of the game.
Yeah, Bob Heck saying the cornerbacks must support. They didn't support week 1.
So now we know Diggs can do it if he wants to do it.
If he wants to.
If he feels like it.
Yeah, that NASCAR looked really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what they do against this Giants offense. If I had to put one more out there, I'm I'm confident in Diggs. If Galloway plays or he doesn't play, I'm confident in Diggs. I'm confident in Brown, regardless of Tony or David Steele or David Seals, whoever it is out there. But on the inside, Sterling Shepard, that's one you got to pay attention to. Because when Shepard is healthy, Shepard is a big playmaker for that offense whenever he's out there. He just deals with so many injuries. So got to pay attention to Jordan Lewis versus Sterling Shepard in this game also. And Jack Meeker saying Barr might be headed towards a rusher now too. You know, that's an option, but they've been using Barr quite a bit in coverage when they bring all the pass rushers on the field. Yeah, Galladay done quit. And Mendoza saying our interior versus their interior. They've been rotating left guard. I got to go back and watch the games to see that. So that's a good point if they're rotating guards, because we got a lot of strength at that D tackle position. All right, now, but we're at 52 minutes. Let's go back real quick and check on the question of the day and see where we are. See if we've gotten some more people to respond to it. And once again, guys, you can go to menti.com if you want to cast your vote. Put in the code and let us know which tight end you think are the best game. It looks like Hendershot's starting to run away from it. So, guys, if you haven't done so already, put your vote on here so we can keep a record of it for future reference, and I don't have to write all the stuff down. We can just go back here and reference it. So if I had to guess, I would probably say McKeon has 1 vote, Jake Ferguson probably has 2, and then Hendershot probably has 3 or 4. So just let us know in the comments. Menti.com, put the code in, cast your vote. All right, Lambo, let's go back to we pretty much hit on all the key matchups. So now let's go to our keys to victory. So got this big game coming up. We know it's pretty much a must win, even though we did win against the Bengals, because we've got 3 of our next 4 in the division. So we got to set the tone with this one to make sure we can keep the ball rolling, so that when Dak comes back, we're not in too big of a hole in our division, because I believe we're last in the division right now, right? I mean, I know the Giants and the Eagles are both undefeated, so we're behind them.
So, yeah.
Washington's lost the game.
They've lost 1, so we might be tied for last.
You know what? No, we can't.
Well,
we can't be, because our win is against the AFC. We lost to the NFC. So we're 0-1 in the conference. So we're probably last right now.
Probably last, yeah.
So, yeah. So this is definitely a must-win game for us, not only for the conference, but in our division. So we definitely got to make sure we get this one out there so that we can keep up with the rest of the division, and we can knock an opponent back. Because if the Giants go up 3-0, that's just digging ourselves in a bigger hole. All right, so Lambo, and everybody in the comments, thank you for sticking with us. Keep the great questions and comments coming. Let us know what you think are our 3 keys to victory for this week's game.
Keys to victory.
All right, so guys, once again, I see we got a couple people putting some in there. Jeff saying manage the game, let our defense win it, make this a Zeke game. And Bob Heck saying stay with the run and avoid key turnovers.
That's like my entire list.
Pretty much that's everybody's list.
Probably everybody's list. Don't turn the ball over. Run the ball a lot. Defense needs to keep playing elite. Don't give up the big play. Because really, that's it. That's it. Every once in a while, they have a big play, and outside of that, they're garbage the whole game. So, I mean, just don't give up a big play.
Keith, them saying
sucks.
Number 1 key, stop Barkley. That one pretty much sums it up.
Yeah. Run the ball. Zeke better have over 20 carries this game to himself. Is what I want.
I expect Zeke to have 100 yards this week. I don't know if that's considered a bold prediction or not, but I think this is definitely going to be a Zeke game.
Yeah.
Especially if Leonard Williams doesn't play. If Leonard Williams doesn't play and Jalen Smith is playing significant snaps against our interior, Zeke should have a field day. Jeff saying Barkley pretty much all they got. So I would say, I mean, you guys are putting some really good ones up there. And there's no arguing with any of them. Run, defend, establish the run, protect the ball, definitely. I know Bob Heck put one up there about penalties. That's the one that scares me more than anything. We don't need to have a bunch of stupid penalties this week. Did a pretty good job last week, but we had a couple of costly roughing the passers that kept some drives going that shouldn't have been kept going.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel Jones is known for escaping the pocket, so they have to be aware with those. And as soon as I say it, Bob Heck puts it out there. Don't let Daniel Jones run like Joe Burrow.
Oh, he's fast.
Yeah.
Jones is fast.
Daniel Jones is sneaky fast, good athlete. He can make a couple of plays that'll change the look of the game around, especially with our pass rush and how reliant our defense has become on it. When the quarterback breaks contain more than twice for some big runs, that pretty much neutralizes your pass rush. And then once we lose that, what do we have? Jeff giving us the bold prediction a couple of days early. I'll be sure to make a note of that, Jeff. So, yeah, I mean, you guys put some great keys to victory up there. I would probably say definitely have to establish the run on our side. We have to eliminate costly turnovers, division game. Are we going to New York for this one?
I think
I'm bad with home and away.
We are
going to New York.
Going to New York and then coming right back home against Washington.
So we're going to New York. It's Monday Night Football. It's going to be all eyes on us. We can't have costly penalties at their house. Those can be game killers. So we have to establish the run. We can't have costly costly penalties. And I think we have to force some turnovers. I feel like our offense is going to do well, but it doesn't hurt to just go ahead and cause a couple of turnovers and demoralize the team, especially when you're going on the road. They're going to be hyped. This is their Super Bowl, like, honestly.
Yeah.
This is the only game I think they can look at that's in prime time. They can say, we have a chance to make a statement. So they're going to give us their best. They got the new coach. He's going to want to put his stamp on the league. They're going to probably bring his name up 1,000 times and make a bunch of Daniel Jones, Josh Allen comparisons. So be prepared for that. So we have to come and play our best game. Don't make mistakes. Run them off their own field.
And Daniel Jones couldn't even pass for 200 yards against Tennessee or Carolina. So
we can't let them do it against us.
Yeah, there's no way they should be winning this game, or there's no way.
The run scared me more than him passing.
Yeah, and even that, he hadn't been extremely. I mean, he had 10 carries last week against Carolina. It went for 21 yards, 2.1 a carry average.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, we just gotta play smart.
Yep. Jeff asked the question, does Jabril Cox play this week? Unfortunately, Jeff, I'm probably leaning towards no, because I think we'll have to keep an extra safety. And then we'll probably have to bring up a tight end. So I'm probably leaning towards no Cox this week. I saw it as soon as I said it.
I tried to hold it in.
Pause. So yeah, I think Jabril's on the bench again this week. Jack saying he's glad we get him early in the year when it's not too cold. And they will say Parsons 10 times more often. You're right about that. But Brian Dable, his teams have always been amazing on Monday Night Football. I mean, look at how look how Buffalo's playing now. They're gonna bring his name up a bunch of times also. Yep. So it's tight end Tolbert.
I was trying to stop laughing.
Now we just need Charlie in the comments. That would just completed the whole segment. All right, guys. So we got a great matchup coming up this week. We're at hour and one, so we're right on time. Let's go back one more time and check on the question of the day. See if anybody else put in their comments. See where we are on that. All right, looks pretty much the same. Peyton Hendershot.
Hendershot says, "Screw your draft status. I'm coming in to take this over."
Exactly. I'm excited about seeing them play though. That's probably
I'm excited that there's two. Like usually when something like this happens, we're like kind of uncomfortable about the whole situation. Like I feel really good about it because I feel like both these guys are going to be good young tight ends. So I like McKeon too, by the way.
Yeah,
I always kind of like McKeon. But are we wearing the navies?
Yep, because that's supposed to be doing the whiteout.
They're gonna wear the old helmets with the Giants down the side. I bet.
Not probably. More than likely they are.
Those were their best unis. They should have kept those.
Before we get out of here, let's just hit on this one topic really quick because this kind of been the question of the day around social media after Dennis Houston got cut. Do you think we see Tolbert this week?
Let's think about it. Well, it really depends. Is Gallup going to come back this week?
Right, exactly.
If he's coming back, then definitely no.
Mm-hmm.
If he's not coming back this week,
you almost have to. Because right now you're looking at Lamb, you're looking at Brown. Turpin's your special teams guy. That's 3.
Sammy.
And then Sammy's become kind of the new special teams guy, the core special teams guy outside of return, and that's 4. So you only bring most teams only bring 5 active. Yeah. So if it's not Gallup, it's got to be Tolbert.
Yeah. I think this would be a good game to let him try or get him out there.
Jeff saying he's starting to think it's a wasted pick. Don't jump off the bandwagon yet, Jeff.
I'm feeling that too, but we still got time. We still got time. We got a lot of time. It is kind of concerning a third round pick to be inactive, healthy scratch. But
I mean, but Noah Brown is stepping up. If we were just stagnant and nobody was stepping up and it was week 1 all over again, I would be concerned. But we've got guys who stepped up.
Yeah. When is Washington gonna be back healthy?
What did Washington hurt?
I'm trying to remember. I haven't been even keeping up with him much.
Well, he was definitely put on IR, so he has to miss at least 4 weeks. But I don't think that's the type of injury where he'll be back in 4 weeks, though.
Because things could get really mixed up then. Especially if Brown continues to play like he is. I'm letting Brown continue to get his snaps in.
So James Washington broke his foot, I believe, on right around the end of August. Broken foot is usually a 6 to 10 week injury, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll say at minimum 6 weeks. So that's pretty much where we are. And like Bob had said, Washington's a 6 to 8 week injury. He's on the course now. I mean, even if Washington comes back, the way Noah Brown has stepped up,
Yeah.
Does he even touch the field? Because historically, this team does not play 4 receivers in a game, not on the offense. It's almost exclusively whoever your top 3 guys are, they're playing 90% of your snaps. And unless it's a blowout or your 4th guy is a jet sweep guy, you're not seeing them. So even if Washington comes back, I don't think we see him either, unless he's a good special teamer. And then Bob Hicks saying, your 3rd guy's not playing, but I did hear Tolbert had a hamstring. It's not as concerning to me because of how well Noah Brown's played. And I mean, we look at Semi last year. Semi was a 5th rounder. A lot of people liked him. He didn't play at all last year. He was inactive every week. So we'll just have to see. Jeff is on the skies falling mentality. Another wasted signing. Jack Meeker giving us a little injury update, saying he broke the same bones. It took him 12 weeks, but he didn't have the specialist he does. Jeff, that's kind of what everybody's kind of saying on social media also. If James Washington come back, we may see Tolbert get a mystery injured reserved designation to kind of hide him out to hold a roster spot for somebody else.
Possibly.
All right, so I think that's pretty much it. We're at 1 hour 7 minutes. Once again, thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for all the great questions and comments. We got through a lot of topics tonight. Be sure to join us this Sunday, 11:15 Central Standard Time for our pregame show, where we'll update you guys on any other storylines that will come up. You know what, now, but we got one more segment we didn't do. I just thought about it. Do you want to do it today or you want to wait till Sunday?
Which one did we miss?
Over, under.
Oh. Over, under. Let's do it.
All right, guys. So before we go, you've been in a great comment and question mood. We got one more segment we're gonna hit really quick. Seems to be a favorite of everybody, and it's now time for over under.
Over under.
All right, guys. So the way over under works for you guys that are joining us, I will give you 3 statistics, offensively and defensively, and you tell me whether or not our team will go over or under that statistic. So this was going to focus a lot on our storylines. So we'll start off Michael Gallup. Looks like he's going to play this week. More than likely he's going to be your X receiver. So let's say over under 10 targets. We're not going to do yards. We're not going to do catches. Over under 10 targets for Michael Gallup in his first game back. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Under.
Under. You don't think they're going to throw him 10 fade routes?
Nah.
All right, I see everybody's going under on that one. All right, we got James saying over. All right, then, since everybody's saying under, let me change it up.
I mean, CD only had 11 targets as the number 1 guy a few weeks back. I don't know.
That's true. Okay, let's do this then. Over under 6 catches for Michael Gallup this week.
I'm still honestly feeling under.
Okay. 5.5. Over under 5.5.
Under.
Okay. Everybody's
I give him 4. I'll give him 4.
Okay. Everybody's going under on that. So I think you're all kind of with Keith M on this one. He'll be on some type of snap count. Jeff saying they'll try to break him in. So you guys aren't looking for him to be as heavily involved in the offense as other people might think. All right, let's go to the tight end position because we've talked about this quite a bit. Bob Heck also saying he's going to be on the pitch count. All right, so we go to the tight end position. And you guys can go back and look at the history of tight ends in this game the past 2 to 3 years. Over under one of our tight ends 60 yards. Over under 60 yards for one of our tight ends. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Oh, man.
Jeff saying over and thinks it's Hendershot. Bob Heck saying under on that one. Jack Meeker says over easy.
I could see over, but with the type of game plan I'm thinking we'll have, and thinking about calculating in how much I think each receiver is probably going to have on top of it. I don't see Rush throwing for enough yards to warrant the tight end getting that many receiving.
Okay.
So I'm gonna say under.
All right. We got a lot of people saying over. Got a couple saying under. Bob Heck going under. Everybody. James says under. Everybody else is pretty much on the over bandwagon. You know what? I hate to be optimistic. I'm leaning over also. I think there's going to be 2 splash plays in there somewhere where one of our tight ends gets 2 plays over 20 yards. So I'm leaning over only because of that fact. And Jack Meeker saying is going to be ball control. Tight end is going to get good yak. Bob Heck saying with Schultz out is going to be under 60. So it sounds like all of you guys kind of think this is going to be a run the ball control game. So over under one of our running backs 75 yards rushing.
Over.
Lambo with the quick over. All right, who you leaning?
Zeke. But I do, man. I think I'm gonna have a bold prediction based off all of this, because, like we're talking about, I think if everybody in the world is obviously thinking we're just gonna try to run the ball, the Giants are probably thinking the same thing. The Cowboys might be thinking, let's completely throw everybody off and air it out coming out here. Watch us come out here and he throws for 375 yards. Because the Giants probably game planning like crazy to stop the run.
Yep.
And I'll come out here just bombing.
Mendoza said they love those play action boots. He wants to see 2 deep shots to Hendershot. Jeff saying bold prediction. Both running backs over 100. You know what?
He did complete one. A breakaway to the house.
Technically, that was a pass, though.
Oh, yeah.
They call it a pass, even though it was a pass of this much.
Yeah.
You know, Jeff, I'm leaning. I don't think that's that bold. I think both running backs go over 75 yards. I think we just destroy them up the middle in terms of tight ends and running backs. I was really impressed with how our interior was blocking. And I think our backs, this is the game to show it. And Mendoza says he's averaged 280 in his 2 games he's played. All right, so we're at hour 15. Lambo, let's go to the defensive side of the ball real quick. Parsons is gonna Parsons, so I don't even have to do that one. We had Dorrance Armstrong get 2 sacks last week. Over under another pass rusher, 1.5 sacks.
Dante Fowler, over.
Over, okay. You know, Dante Fowler has looked really good the past 2 weeks.
He has.
All right, guys. 1.5 sacks, over under. Yeah, Bob Heck, we talked about this early in the show, talking about them bringing their counter trade back with Tyler Smith and Matt Farniok blocking. Those guys haven't seen a guy yet that they haven't tried to pancake. I love him in run blocking. Jeff just making this a bold prediction Wednesday. I see Jack Meeker says over, Mendoza says over. Jeff gives the over to Sam Williams. Bob Heck also saying over 1.5 sacks. Yeah, So, guys, let me know in the comments. Who do you think is the guy that gets the over? Lambo says it's Fowler. I'm leaning Fowler also. So let me know what you guys think. Jack Meeker says he saw Barr getting in last week on the fun, so he sees I'm bringing it this week. All right, so we talk about Saquon Barkley and how boom or bust he is. Over under Saquon Barkley 60 yards rushing. Bob Heck saying he's going on a limb with Gallimore. Yeah, I'm with you, Mendoza.
I'm gonna say over.
Okay.
Because of a splash play.
All right. Jeff says over. Mendoza also says over. I think we shut him down. I'm going under. I got faith in him.
76-ish. That's what exactly like the number that was in my head, Jack. That's exactly what I was thinking at when I said over 76-ish.
He may go over. That doesn't necessarily mean they win the game, though. Jeff says it'll be a lot of attempts. He'll probably have 15 rushes for 12 yards and then break a 50-yard or something.
Yeah,
like that.
Pretty much.
Yep. Because if he gets the edge, we don't have a linebacker that can catch him. I don't have faith in LVE. Bob Heck says Saquon under. All right, last over-under of the night. We talked about this earlier. Kenny Golladay is not happy on the team. I don't know what's going on with Kadarius Toney, but he either doesn't get playing time or he does and he gets hurt. David Seals has been their number one receiver for the past 2 weeks. I don't know who in the hell that is. They got the young guy, Wan'Dale Robinson, they drafted, I think, in the 3rd round. And then Sterling Shepard's healthy right now. So they got a lot of receivers just out there. And our corners have looked very good the past 2 weeks. Over under one of the Giants receivers 75 yards.
Give me under.
Okay. In a game they may be behind the whole time.
Yep.
All right. Lambo says under on the receivers. Over under one of their receivers 75 yards. Bob Heck says under. Jeff says over. Jack Meeker says under. Jeff says garbage time.
I don't think anybody in the Bengals got over 75 yards receiving.
No, they didn't.
I'm like, man, if we can hold, they have a good receiving core.
Yeah, the Bengals have arguably the best receiver core in the league.
I think I'm a little optimistic. Well, I guess it's not optimism. Our defense has looked awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I just wanted to put that one out there just to see what you guys thought. See if somebody can maybe slip through the cracks and get a couple catches that the Bengals couldn't get because they were really,
even though he hasn't done anything this season, I still have a fear of Kadarius Toney when he actually is given opportunities and he's healthy.
Yep.
He's the guy that worries me the most. But are they actually going to use him is a question.
Yep. A great point too, Bob Heck. Nobody from the Bucs went over 75 yards either. Jeff saying we loud the gas and one may get over, but they still lose. And I'm looking for a couple of trick plays to be thrown out there too. And Jack Meeker asked the question. You asked this earlier, Jack, and I'm sorry I didn't pay attention to you. You asked how quick is Jones' release. I don't know how quick his release is, but I know he does hold the ball long times, and that's what causes him to turn it over quite a bit. So I don't know how quick his release is, but he does have a tendency to hold on to it too long.
I hope he holds on to it too long this game.
And you know what? One more matchup I want to talk about really quick. because I forgot I overlooked this. Thibodeau probably will play this week. So Thibodeau versus Tyler Smith. The 2 first-round rookies. Should be an interesting matchup.
Yeah. Tyler Smith got this. I'm Team Tyler Smith now. I was pissed for like all offseason. And now since I've seen him take care of Shaq Barrett, I said, okay, I like this guy.
You weren't the only one, Lambo. All right, guys. Now, that is it for the show. Hour 21 minutes. Thank you guys for sticking with us the whole time. Great questions, great comments. As always, you guys fuel the show, so we definitely appreciate you guys tuning in. There are a lot of other great podcasters still going on right now, so if you haven't gotten enough Cowboys news and notes, feel free to look around the Cowboys universe on YouTube and Facebook. I'm sure you'll find somebody else that you can watch. I'm almost certain Star Gang still going on. I believe George Teague's podcast is on right now also, off the top of my head. Those are 2 you guys should definitely check out.
Over, Keith. You get his clock run at least twice.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that. And that's a good point too, Bob Heck. That's actually one of the things that turned me around to him, because normally you don't see rookies put in their work to transform themselves year one. Normally that's a 2nd-year thing. To see him go out there and not only work with Big Duke, but transform his body, that lets you know this kid is taking this football thing serious. Yeah, definitely appreciate that, Jack Meeker. And once again, congratulations on the new addition to the Meeker family.
Yeah, congrats, man. It's awesome.
All right, Lambo, before we go, let the people know where they can find you at.
Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Patreon is at Cowboys Y'all. Instagram is Cowboys Y'all 88. And thank you guys for tuning in and talking with us. Can't wait to talk to you guys on Sunday.
All right, guys, you can find me on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Bluff City Cowboys. You can also find me on Twitter at Bluff Cowboys. And once again, be sure to check us out every Wednesday night, 8:30 Central Standard Time, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. And join us for our pregame show every Sunday at 11:15, including this Sunday, where we'll give you updated storylines, the injury report, and we'll get your game predictions as well as your bold predictions for this week's game. And we'll give you some of our fantasy favorites to look out for throughout the Sunday matchups. So I think that's pretty much it for the show. Lambo, any closing thoughts?
No closing thoughts, man. Just ready to. I wish we had a Sunday game instead of a Monday game, so I have to wait as long. But it is what it is. And
I know, and you guys also be on the lookout. We may have to bring the mini Lambos in again because they brought us so much good luck last week.
Yeah, my son said we was gonna win by 4 points, and we laughed, and then we won by 3.
Yep.
I was like, oh man.
And he did predict the Noah Brown touchdown also, so we got to give him credit for that.
He did.
It wasn't off Lamb's foot. Yeah, he got it right.
Right.
All right, so Lambo, since this is a rivalry week,
Yes.
will we be able to get Cowboy Dale to give us a prediction?
Yes.
All right. So
Guaranteed.
be sure you guys come back and get that Cowboy Dale prediction. It'll be the first one of the year, so I'm sure it'll be really good. Once again, thank you guys for watching the Cowboy Zone. Definitely appreciate you guys' support, and we'll see you Sunday.
See y'all later.
Thank you for watching the Cowboy Zone.